We continue with a review for test 2. And again, we continue. Question number 3 is very similar to questions 1 and 2. So we're asking for the class width, the midpoint of the first class, and the class boundaries. In order to find the class width, you're going to look at the consecutive classes, lower class limits, so 1 and 3, and you're going to subtract 1 from 3, and that's how you get the class width. As for the midpoint, you will be adding 1 plus 3 and then divide by 2. So you will be adding, that will give you, it will be 1 plus 2 because it's the class midpoint, the midpoint of the first class. 1 plus 2 is 3 divided by 2, so this is 1.5. Then as for the boundaries, we're going to look at the first class and we're going to subtract 0.5 from 1 and we're going to add 0.5 to the 2, the lower limit, upper limit. So that's how you get to 0.5 and to 2.5. And that's it for question number 3. Question number 4. A nurse measured the blood pressure of each person who visited her clinic. To the right is a relative frequency histogram for the systolic blood pressure readings for those people aged between 25 and 40. The blood pressure readings were given to the nearest whole number. Identify the center of the third class. So the third class is based on each one of the bars represent a class. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it's asking about the third class. So the focus is going to be in this part right here. And the question is, identify the center. So in order to identify the center, you're going to add the limit. So we add 120 to 130. That gives you 250 divided by 2. So the center is 125. Number 5. A city in the Pacific Northwest recorded its highest temperature at 91 degrees Fahrenheit. And its lowest temperature, so the highest was 91, the lowest was 10 degrees Fahrenheit for a particular year. Use this information to find the upper and lower limits in degrees Fahrenheit of the first class if you wish to construct the frequency distribution of temperatures throughout the particular year using 10 classes. So the way you find the class width to help you find the rest of the information, it will be you take the highest minus the smallest in the data. In this case is 91 minus 10. They're telling you that. That is 81 divided by 10 is 8.1. And even though this does not round up to 9, you will always round up, whether it rounds up or not. So if it has any decimal, any decimal different from 0, you will always round up. Okay, so don't fight it, just do it. So that means that in order for you to create the first class, you start with the lowest data, that is 10. Then you're going to add 9. So that means that the lower limit of the next class is 19. Therefore, the upper limit of the first class is always 1 less. So if this is 19, this one is going to be 18. So the question was about the first class. So this right here is the first class. If you wanted to create the next one here, it will be you add 9, that will give you 28. So this one will have been 27, but they're just asking you for the first class. Okay, so let's see if we have time for the next question. So the next question is very similar, number 6. They give you the lowest and they give you the highest, and they're asking you to find the first class. So here you will again the same process. You subtract the smallest from the highest in the data that is given, divide by 12. Why by 12? Because they tell you to create 12 classes. So that will give you 0.19. So when you're working with the decimals, this will round up to the next decimal. In this case, is 0.20. And that one you might not have to fight us as much because you see that 0.19 goes up to 0.20. So you start with the lowest data, then you will add 0.20 to get to 2.55. And even though they're not asking you for the lower limit of the second class, you need that in order to find the upper limit of the first class. So that's how this was generated. Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're after 5 minutes.